Welcome to ZKast, everyone. I'm ZKast from ZK Research, and I'm here at WebexOne in Fort Lauderdale. I'm with Shelly Kramer from theCube Research. Shelly, how you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah.
Always good to see you.
So it's day 1, 2, whatever you want to call it. The keynotes were this morning anyways. And as we've come to expect at WebexOne's, the keynote was filled with a lot of product news.
Absolutely.
I think this was an interesting year for Cisco, right? We've seen them go through some downs and ups, but it certainly seems like from a product perspective, Webex is now in a really good place. And I think there was the theme for the show, I think I saw Aruna's preview video, was about AI for EX and CX, which is what you would expect.
Right.
Now, I thought the lead news item was the introduction of the virtual AI agent, which the demo was actually really interesting, because I think when you think of virtual AI agents, bots, people don't like them in general, right? Just because they've never worked historically.
Yeah.
But this one, the demo they showed actually had a person talking to it, interrupted, it pivoted, it was able to answer some questions that sounded very lifelike. What were your thoughts on that?
I think that it was super interesting because, as you mentioned, most of us, when we have experiences with customer service contact centers, they're not pleasant. We're not happy.
We get the shivers.
And the thing of it is that we actually saw more than one demo. So it wasn't just one sort of staged demo. We saw more than one demo where somebody was talking with a customer service agent, interrupting the agent.
The virtual agent.
The virtual agent during, and by the way, you really couldn't tell.
No.
That's the whole point. You really couldn't tell that you were talking with a virtual agent, asking questions. Now, what about, and one of the demos was somebody with HR questions, and can you tell me, where I am on vacation mode? And she had barely gotten done answering that question, and he kind of interrupted her to ask another question, and she just took that seamlessly in stride. And so the thing about that is that you're happier when you feel like you're talking with a person, I think. And so they've really been able to nail that, and I think they still have some ways to go. I think one of the product engineers today said they thought that they felt like they were sort of 80% feeling like you were actually talking with a human.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, in both of those interactions that I saw, actually I saw 3 interactions, I never didn't feel like I was
in fact,
hearing
I thought the 80% number was conservative. I thought really it was closer to 99. In fact, if somebody hadn't told me it was a virtual agent, I'm not sure I would have actually known.
I don't know that I would have known either.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And when you think about the use cases there, and just, again, it's all about up-leveling those customer experiences for all the reasons that we know. I think that was really, really interesting. And then, I thought the comment that was made yesterday during the analyst sessions that really resonated with me was that, so much of what we focus on when we talk about AI is efficiency. And you know what? Your customers really don't care if you're efficient. What they care about is, are you serving up great customer experiences? And we can talk about the productivity that's a natural part of infusing AI throughout our daily operations. And that's good because we're more productive, we deliver better customer service, we get more done, we're happier, we're less stressed, all of that sort of thing. But I just thought that was such a great comment that, all of this that we're talking about when it comes to delivering on experiences really is not, and using AI has nothing to do with efficiency.
Yeah, and so to me, this signals a big change for AI in the contact center, because most of what we've seen to date is what? Agent assist, supervisor tools, things like that allow the contact center to run more efficiently, maybe help the agent a little bit, but fundamentally doesn't really transform the contact center. I think this one actually can. I think this is a very high risk, high reward, I think, type of thing where we've seen in the past people roll things out in the contact center, they don't work, customers get upset. And so this has got to work from what we saw, it looks great.
Yeah.
But the question is if you get into some complicated issues, is the bot smart enough to know to get it to a person? How does that work? But I think for very high frequency, low complexity use cases, it's perfect.
The other thing that I really liked, and we've spent so much time in the last, really today, it feels like, with product people. And part of one of the things I really love, and you were not able to attend this session, but they assembled 4 engineers, each responsible for a different part of product. And it was funny because they were all sort of chopping each other about, they were challenged to sort of what makes you most excited about the innovations that you're doing. And it was really cool to see sort of their excitement be palpable. One of the things about contact center and the technology fueling that I think is really interesting is the observability. They are able to serve up a dashboard that shows you in graph form the biggest issues. So for instance, if the vast majority of the calls that are coming into a contact center or the contacts that are coming in are about appointment times or identifying the key issues that are driving that customer contact. And so you can say to yourself, well, look at what the data is showing us. So much of our time is spent answering pretty mundane questions about when's my appointment. Okay, well now we can employ agents, we can to be proactive and start saying, reminder about your appointment and those sorts of things. So I feel like that functionality that leads to better business solutions that cuts down on contact center interactions, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, this sets up a really interesting kind of next year or two in the contact center industry, because I think it's fair to say Cisco is behind in cloud contact center. I do think, the way I look at the world, Shelly, is that it's these market transitions that allow new winners and losers to be crowned, right? Yeah. And so Cisco was certainly not in a good place during the pandemic. That allowed Zoom and Teams to kind of rise. But I think AI creates a big level set for the entire industry. And Cisco's got a good shot as anybody. Now we'll see, they do big really well. We'll see if they can, from a customer perspective, be able to address the needs of all their, companies of all sizes. But certainly, this is probably the best shape this product's been in, really since I've been following Cisco. So.
And one thing that I always say about Cisco, I've been a WebEx collaboration platform user since the earliest days. And I am an unabashed fan. And by the way, as you do, we use Teams, Microsoft Teams, and we use Zoom, and we use Chime, we're meeting with Amazon. We use them all day interchangeably every day. And the only time when I hear somebody say, WebEx, I don't know, I know that you haven't used it, because if you use that platform on a day-to-day basis to collaborate within your organization, it is a winner.
Yeah, well, that's their biggest challenge, is getting people to try it again, right? So, was there anything here that you were hoping to see that you didn't see?
No, I don't think that I didn't see. I think that,
What I thought was missing for me was some more cross-platform vision. Okay. They're probably a little early on that. G2 just took over running networking and Splunk, and he alluded to it a couple of times, but I think the Cisco on Cisco story, especially now with, when you think about the implications of the virtual agent, I think most of those interactions will be through voice.
Yes.
Right? And so that puts an emphasis back on voice, which puts an emphasis back on network reliability.
Yes.
And they're the only contact center vendor. They're the only contact center vendor that actually runs a network and can secure it. And so that should give them an inherent advantage. But they didn't really talk about what they can do from a network perspective to keep, and again, it's probably a little early given G2 just took that over.
Well, and I think a lot of the conversation in the last couple of days has been around the sort of reshaping of the brand identity as, we're a platform and everything is underneath the umbrella of the Cisco umbrella, and you get network and you get CX and you get collaboration and you get the security that comes along with all of that, and the observability with Thousand Eyes. So,
and there was a heavy dose of Thousand Eyes.
There was a heavy dose of Thousand Eyes, but there was much talk of really the shift to a platform mindset, which we see throughout the industry. That's not uncommon at all. So.
Although it is in the comm space, you don't hear some of the other competitors talking about observability, again, because they don't really have the platform to do it, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. But think about the observability piece. Just go back to what I just shared in terms of contact center and being able to see on a dashboard that data, which can help transform your contact center operation. So all of that, I think, plays a role.
Yeah. So from a CX perspective, thumbs up?
Thumbs up.
All right, Shelly. Well, I think we saw really the coming of age of Cisco CX this year's WebEx. Looking forward to seeing what they got coming up, going into next year. So, on behalf of Shelly Kramer from theCUBE Research, I'm Zias Caravallo from ZK Research, and thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time on the next episode of ZKast.